Hello everyone.
Shit is Vaan. Oh, what the hell? Oh, okay. Just annoyed about this. I haven't really officially started. I haven't officially started because I was thinking maybe we could just spend some minutes and see if people wanted to come in before we start this thing off. There we go. Yo, thanks for the host, Dark Speedrun. How was the volume of that alert? Seemed like it should be pretty fine, right? Yeah, you're right. You know, see, I paused the thing and
Hello everyone.
A few seconds after the thing reacts.
Since I did one of those. It's been pretty much
What's going on? Is it paused or not? Oh, there we go. I think me watching this in 60 FPS is not gonna do anything. I think I have to lower it. Actually. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll... The thing is, I'm gonna want to maybe pause to talk about some stuff, maybe, even though we'll mostly listen to Vaan here. But is there a point to have a timer running alongside this for some kind of comparison or whatever? What do you think? Oh. Okay, I guess if people ask, we could maybe provide some information, but until then, we should be good to go.
Years. Hello everyone. It's been a while since I did one of those. It's been pretty much exactly 2 years since I posted an update on this work in progress for this task. There are basically 2 reasons for why I didn't post any updates on this. One was I was really busy with real life stuff, like I found a new job, stuff like that. So over half of those 2 years I didn't even work on this at all. Second reason being I was stuck in Child's Nightmare, and if you know this game, or if you know the speedrun rather, Child's Nightmare is pretty much the single most heaviest RNG place in the game, where there's just room upon room, back to back with RNG, and I just couldn't satisfy myself with the RNG outcomes that I manipulated. And I finally got something together that I can live with. I will go into detail over that later once I'm there. But yeah, I not only just finished Child's Nightmare, but I also started this from scratch, which is another reason why it actually took this long. This is also the reason why you will see the full-length task up until that point in the game, and not just Child's Nightmare. Because there's actually a lot of stuff that has changed. I think I actually forgot to calculate the difference, and I was too lazy to go back to calculate it properly. But it is about 20 seconds faster than my old work in progress videos. And that is with true reroutes that actually cost time, so this would be more like, I think 35-ish seconds faster if I didn't need to take those 2 reroutes. But yeah, those 2 reroutes actually end up saving time in the long run. So they may lose time now, but they will save time later. But yeah, it's still 20-ish seconds faster than the old work in progress, mostly due to new things. One of the things is, I found a mechanic when I worked on the old TAS in Ancient Shrine, which was certain sound effects like the dashing animation when you start a dash, or after a certain amount of time when you do a quick turn, or something like bombs using teleporters, or even sound effects from the overworld background like the waves of the ocean. Those things can lengthen loading zones. My theory is that the sound effect has priority over the loading zone, so it first plays the sound effect, then it starts the loading, and that can cost up to over a second each. And since Ancient Shrine is about 40 to 50 minutes into the TAS, I'm not sure exactly when I found it, but I didn't want to redo the entire TAS for just a couple frames here and there, or maybe I'm unlucky a second even. But yeah, there has been so much things found that I just decided I was unhappy with the TAS, because I knew the potential time saves, so I just decided to redo it from scratch. That's what I've done here. The most important thing, there's like a skip I found a year or 2 ago that actually is most of the time save compared to the old work in progress. Like, it straight up saves about 15 seconds. But I will not spoil it, so you have to watch this if you want to.
Shit.
It's a pretty cool one, I wanna say.
Nice. It's kind of weird for me to pause here, but I'm just afraid that you're gonna talk again. But I just wanted to say, wasn't the whole thing about sound effects, wasn't that like, didn't you refine that when you redid the task the first time? Or is this just like you're basically just retelling history of your progress?
So yeah, of course this game has been developed in the last couple of years. Only smaller things, because this game is really solid when it comes to sequence breaks and stuff like that. But yeah, strats have improved, my knowledge has improved with this game, so it's just naturally that I was able to improve the task. But general movement is still the same. I couldn't really do any improvement there most of the time. I will point out when I did something different than the old run in progress, if I remember, that is. I may not remember everything. So yeah, this cutscene is basically an auto-scroller. There's a little tech to it where you can advance certain text boxes or certain lines of text boxes even though they are at a fixed rate. But basically, if you press the square button on a specific set of frames, you can advance to the next line a bit earlier, about 8-ish frames earlier than you're supposed to, and that speeds up the cutscene too. It saves like 5 seconds over the course of this cutscene in total. It's not for all lines, and it's not for every text box. So yeah, you just have to basically try and error, see if it advances earlier or not by pressing the square button.
It's fine for the most part though. It's just sometimes when it's really hard to hear.
I think this is actually the first time you will see a bit of weird looking movement. In a sense of, you may think, why do I not continue the dash until the loading zone? But yeah, this is the point where I said that the sound effect of the dash can lengthen a loading zone, and this may affect this loading zone right there. So I decided to stop the dash early, I think. Oh no, I didn't do that there. Then it must have not mattered.
Stop kicking.
But that will happen in the next screen. I will cut my dash short to not trigger the sound effect before I go into the loading zone.
You're just gonna walk up.
There, I stopped my dash and walked into the house. Walking into the house is slower, but the sound effect would have made the loading zone longer.
Yeah, it would go like
walk in the end. And stuff like that I didn't do in my first work in progress because it wasn't known about that. The unfortunate thing is that some sound effects of the overwork can also make the loading zone longer. Right there I did it again. And the good...
I actually just learned how deep into the wall you can sprint there. Because usually I'm further away from the wall than that. Because that's good, because you want to walk out and not sprint, so... That's great.
The thing about sound effects from the overworld, like waves from the ocean. For once, there are only a handful of screens where there is actual ocean with sound effects going on. And on top of that, they are dependent on RNG, so I can just manipulate them to play later or earlier, so they won't affect my loading. But I will also point that out once we are there, which will be about an hour into this video.
I don't know, I guess you will cover it eventually. But I just noticed like how you sprint and like in between two tiles so that you perfectly line up to the right one. It's really cool. So now you'll be exactly, you start here, but you enter kind of like in the middle. So you kind of gain some frames that way. Yo, what's up, Yamatezi?
The beginning is actually very easy because there's not really anything that requires RNG.
That I just wanna see it again. That is sprint and then bonk this ledge here. He turns around actually so that he gets bonked the other way. It's a really cool tech actually.
Actually very easy.
Like that.
Not really anything that requires RNG. The only part that would require RNG is technically the bees here. If you're really unlucky, they can be in your way. Right there, I started another dash earlier to trigger the sound effect. You may have heard it.
I was gonna say that.
Shorten the loading zone. It doesn't work everywhere and it doesn't work all the time. But yeah, when it works and when it saves time, I will do it.
It's gonna look great.
RNG, well, the mercs that are about to appear, they are RNG too, but you can fully manipulate them. They are triggered by your dagger slash if they are in close range. And just like that, you swing at one and kill it before it even can react, and then the other three are triggered by your slash and jump attack at you. Also, in the merc room I also decided to walk into the loading zone. It was ever so slightly...
Why do you end up... Oh... Yo, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub, Eric.
I'll head out, unfortunately. But before I go...
Thank you. That's what I hope that the alert was like somewhat balanced, but I saw now that you actually jumped onto the crate so that you could throw the other one as you're falling down, and then when you land you actually cancel the throwing animation, so that's really cool. Guess we'll watch that again.
Jump attack at you. Also, in the merc room I also decided to walk into the loading zone. It was ever so slightly faster than dashing. I always opted to dash in the previous work in progress videos.
Cool.
So yeah, right here, just dashing like this, you raise the door that was gated by the 4 switches on the ground. Because the animation plays once, so it goes up and down again, you can just dash under it as it's about to close again. Right there, I actually managed to go before the steel ball. I think in the previous work in progress I still did go after it? I'm actually not sure, but I think I did. But yeah, I managed to go in front of it, so that saved a bit of time. And this is one of 3 mandatory life pickups. You have to open the chest in order to open the door. And with this item, as well as pretty much any special item, you hear this little jingle. If you would play this on console there and enable fast disk speed on the PlayStation 2, there's a glitch where the jingle would speed up by about 2 times. So this jingle takes roughly 12 seconds, and with that it would only take roughly 6 seconds. So yeah, that's a time save of a console-only time save of about 5 to 6 minutes, on top of loading zones in general being shorter.
I hope I didn't cut you off too hard there, but I wonder, when you're sprinting towards the room with the book, that turn you're making where you don't get hurt by the merg, I wonder how hard that is, because I bet that's probably a TAS only thing. And then as you're leaving the room, I actually thought it was faster to sprint, but I guess not. You walked out both times.
We estimate that fast disk speed on PlayStation 2 saves about 20 minutes compared to emulator and PlayStation 1. I'm just pointing that out to put this TAS into comparison with a real speedrun done on console.
Alundra MM, yo, what's up?
So yeah, we're off to the first dungeon, and with that off to the first boss as well. I've actually, since I read this TAS and there are new time saves and things done differently, obviously the RNG is different than in my previous work in progress. I could just copy all the movement, but when there was RNG involved, I actually had to diverse from the route that I was taking before. This dungeon is actually the first time that comes into effect. So up until this point, most of my movement was just copy-pasted, except for when I had to pay attention to sound effects.
Oh, actually, well, I guess I'm just like I'm here, you know. What's up, Thatcher? Nice to see all of you. Hope you're doing well.
Into effect. So up until this point, most of my movement was just copy-pasted, except for when I had to pay attention to sound effects and loading zones. So the first part is still copy-pasted, but after that the first slime fight and then the boss fight, those are all new. Especially the boss fight, I'm very happy with how this boss turned out. It was actually, I think, about a second and a half faster than in my previous work in progress, because I just managed to manipulate a better fight, especially in the last phase, or the last 2 phases.
I heard about that, Thatcher. I watched this YouTube video about like esports BM, and I heard about that guy who defeated his opponent with his feet. It's pretty inspiring, really. What was I going to say? Oh, never mind, I forgot about it.
A better fight, especially in the last phase, or the last 2 phases.
Oh, it was really nice that you were able to copy paste a lot of stuff when you really did this. Very convenient.
Oh yeah, right there. If you press any of the face buttons, you can pretty much do a shoulder dash, which is an attack that deals more damage than your main weapon that is equipped. In case of the dagger, it pretty much deals double damage.
Yeah, maybe it would be too much of a struggle then. I thought you always lost speed when you did the shoulder dash, but I guess if you don't do it too far away, it's fine, right? Yeah, also Jeff him. Yeah, it's I mean, I could increase the thing like crazy, but then I would have to remove my alerts. Let me know what you think. Could I make them quiet? I'm not sure. I would learn how to do. I want to learn how to do that stuff. But anyway, let's keep on going.
In case of the dagger, it pretty much deals double damage. Because I assume it uses your main weapon as a reference point and just adds 1 damage to it. Also yeah, jumping and attacking is generally faster than doing a standing attack. But it's not worth sometimes, like when you're trying to hit multiple enemies.
Right.
And yeah, saying...
Because I guess that would mean you would need to hit them on the very same frame. But when you're standing, you have like more active frames for the slash. I will cast some rounds for the French audience for the upcoming SGDQ. So the upcoming SGDQ, is that like some kind of online thing? It has to be, right? And also RPG Limit Break did the same thing, but the sad thing is I can't really join any like online marathons. The stuff I have is too much crap. I tried to commentate on online marathon thing, but like my computer couldn't even handle loading the restream for me to watch. So yeah, that's not gonna happen until I can get a hold of a good computer again. Let's keep on going.
But it's not worth sometimes, like when you're trying to hit multiple enemies. And yeah, saying that the shoulder dash deals more damage, that's what we're going to do here on the boss. The first and last hit doesn't matter, but for every 2 shoulder dashes you shorten this fight by 1 cycle. And you see the iframes are kinda long, so shortening it by like 5 cycles saves a lot of time. And here we are going to do shoulder dashes as well and hit all 4 every time.
Shit.
This saves a lot of time actually.
I don't know.
And then they split up 1 more time, kill them, and we got lucky and got a This saves a lot of time actually. And then they split up 1 more time, kill them, and we got lucky and got a lot of gilder.
That's so
We
satisfying.
can actually manipulate the gilder because we don't need them. But I have like this little challenge for myself that I just, whenever possible, try to manipulate as many gilder as possible to see what I could end up with after the task is done. I'm very happy that I got a lot of drops there. But yeah, as you saw on the last phase of the second cycle, I didn't get all of the 4 medium-sized slimes to line up properly. So all of the small slimes are slightly scattered in the arena. I just couldn't find anything better than that, but even though this looked kind of messy, it still ended up saving 1.5 seconds. It's just very hard to manipulate all of the 4 slimes to always stay on top of each other, so you can do 1 shoulder dash into all of them.
I'm sure what you had there already took a really long time to get anyway.
Use the iframe. Most of the time you also have to abuse the iframes there, so you can even just dash straight through them and hit other ones with your shoulder dash. Since it's pretty much impossible to always have them on top of each other, since once you hit them, they are basically triggered into going into a random direction. Depending on where you're standing, you can even kind of manipulate where they are going.
Nice. That's exciting.
But yeah, pretty happy with how that fight turned out. Also, I've noticed that on the previous work in progress, if too many slimes are on top of each other and you just hit them with your dagger, it creates a lot of lag because of all of the particles that are going on. So yeah, I was able to avoid some lag there by doing that, but I'm not sure if it would have saved time if all of them were stacked together or not. Since, yeah, as I said, that's pretty much impossible to manipulate.
So it's the particles, huh? Cool.
So, talking about RNG manipulation, I should maybe also talk about how to manipulate RNG. Well, a simple way that is really slow and not that great is...
Just to see that movement one more time.
Well, a simple way that is really slow and not that great.
So what will make sense to me is to do one long sprint and then just turn upwards. But I guess because you're so close to the door, it's not about... No, wait, what? You did sprint into the door. I don't really understand that movement, but I'm just gonna assume it's faster, of course.
Way that is really slow and not that great is to actually just wind up a dash. The particles that play the dust clouds, they change RNG, but it's a very slow method of changing RNG because you need several frames of winding up your dash to even change RNG just once. Another way would be just jumping. I assume it's also the dust particles that play when you land on the ground after a jump. Those drastically change RNG. So basically every jump just changes the RNG seed completely. And that's what I usually use, at least for the beginning of the game. And it's always, well, not always, but it's pretty much always enough to manipulate an outcome that is favorable.
This is a work in progress, so well, I guess you can see the duration now that it's paused, but yeah, 40-45, and it's any percent as well. Well, maybe that was obvious.
That is favorable. If jumping or the means I have to manipulate RNG aren't enough, sometimes I also just go into a loading zone a frame later. Like when there are a lot of enemies on screen and you go into loading zone a frame later, RNG just cycles so many times that this is also a way to change RNG in your favor. I haven't done that in the beginning of the game. I think I started doing that in Ancient Shrine because Ancient Shrine is one of the few dungeons where there are multiple screens back to back where you need to have RNG to be in your favor. But Ancient Shrine is pretty tame. Manipulating RNG there is rather easy. So yeah, going down there only works because you're in the cream, otherwise you would exit the real coal mine. But it's faster than just dashing across the screen.
Jump.
Also, I haven't wrote any script for this, so I'm doing that just as I go. I even debated whether I wanted to do commentary or not, but I felt like, why not? So here I am. Please bear with me.
Did the volume just get louder? This is just my laptop.
So yeah, my jumping around here is pretty much to manipulate the drops of the grass. As I said, I have kind of this challenge going on where I want to get as many gilder as possible. So I manipulated 2 10 gilder drops there. Manipulating the drops from enemies is something that won't happen.
Hold on. Just 1 second. Well, just a moment, we'll keep watching. Oh, okay, you already got it. Damn, that would have taken me ages. Thanks. Oh, I can't watch it on screen.
Manipulated 2 10 gilder drops there. Manipulating the drops from enemies is something that won't happen too much. Mostly because I feel like, well, it depends from enemy to enemy, but most enemies are actually fixed in what they drop once they are on screen or once you enter the room. So it's not like just wait a frame, kill them, and you will get another thing to drop or nothing. But much rather it depends on when you enter the room or when they are on screen. So I don't do that just to get a drop unless I have to, because later on I will need to manipulate.
Oh shit.
Health drops.
Oh no, I need to
later
pass a
on
little
as
bit.
in
Yo, Kikuman Shoyu, thanks for the raid. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for the raid. So for anyone tuning in, this is a Zelda-inspired action RPG for the PS1, and we're watching a TAS speedrun of it that Vaan 666 in chat is working on. I think you commented something on my question, but I was finishing some things at work and missed it. Oh, I wouldn't know what that would be. It's just it's okay if you ask again, if you want to ask again. Yeah, Evertran, Evert, I guess. He's making really steady progress, so he should be able to get sub 5 soon. Follow this channel if you want to see real-time Alundra speedrun. But welcome everyone from Keku's channel. We're gonna keep watching this TAS right about here. Just buckle yourself up.
Please bear with me.
We already saw this.
So yeah, my jumping around here is,
You're jumping to manipulate so you can get some more coins.
I mean,
And then my
it depends from
player
enemy to
got screwed up.
because I feel like, well, it depends from enemy to enemy, but most enemies are actually fixed in what they drop once they are on screen or once you enter the room. So it's not like just wait a frame, kill them, and you will get another thing to drop or nothing. But much rather it depends on when you enter the room or when they are on screen. So I don't do that just to get a drop unless I have to, because later on I will need to manipulate health drops. Well, later on as in the next video that I would bring out for the next dungeon. I actually need to manipulate health drops for that one.
So sprinting is faster there for the TAS, but
Spoiler a little bit.
when I tried it in real time, it was not worth. So it's possible that it's too hard to do it in a way where it's fast enough for RTA. Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, I can spoiler a little bit already. I don't know the exact number anymore, but compared to the previous work in progress, I actually have way more gilder than I used to have.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That Sometimes the difference might not be
Previous work
might be
was I
so
had
small.
something like 190 gilder after Reptile Slayer, and this one I have over 250.
Why not?
I was just, well, more lucky to manipulate gilder, or bigger gilder drops when I could manipulate some. Also, I just found the text file that I made. This work in progress is 1587 frames faster, which is about 26.765 seconds.
Nice.
So there you go, those are the official numbers.
Yo, what's up, Cyril? How you doing? This is just something I threw together for this special occasion. I won't be using this overlay anymore after this. Oh, cool. Ah.
I think the turtle here to blow up the bomb a bit earlier. I wish the turtle would have been further to the right, but they are pretty slow. And they only start moving once you're about halfway through the room. I was lucky there to get a gilder drop from the Merc.
Satisfying.
So yeah, obviously counts towards my goal of getting all gilder.
Huh. Thought it was peculiar how you entered the room the left tile. I love that. And then the bomb jump at the end, because why not? Yeah, so I thought it was weird how you... Oh shit. And you actually came up here and not the right one.
The beginning is
Wow.
not very interesting in terms of techniques for the TAS. Except those things that are in the background, like shortening loading zones, making text quicker in cutscenes and stuff like that. That's stuff you just don't really see. And your movement is pretty straightforward. RNG isn't really a thing yet, except for the first boss.
Yeah, I assume it's because it made the sprint afterwards better.
So you're here pulling the bomb while standing on the first frame possible, because the movement still works out, although I can be there in time for the stone ball to explode. And obviously pulling the bomb as early as possible means it will explode as early as possible. In RGA you wouldn't risk that, because you definitely don't want to end up hurting yourself, or even worse, not being able to blow up the wall. So you're usually doing a standing, a jumping pickup with the bomb, because you can move a bit while doing that.
Very early shoulder dash there. Around the corner, that's cool. Sprinting, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, like... No,
Also, yeah,
never mind.
right there, another 10 gilder, that was really lucky. Every time I go through this in a TAS, which I have done 3 times now, I was hoping for a drop of gilder. I never got one. This time I got one, so I'm really happy about that.
Nice.
Also always sad when I see gilder like there on the right, that I can't pick up because it would waste time. Or right there, I just can't even pick it up. It's 15 gilder left behind.
Pepper hands.
We don't need any gilder in this run, so it doesn't really matter if we get them or not. I should probably say that too. Don't ever buy anything.
9999 Gilder TAS coming soon.
In RTA you actually buy the magic elixir once. I'm actually not sure if you buy a second magic elixir or if you get it for free later. I know you get 2 magic elixirs, but I'm not sure if you buy the second one. I'm talking about the one at Verona. But yeah, this task will never see the shop.
Imagine the screen above Inoa. You're like dancing around like crazy just to get like 10 guilder coins out of every bush. That'd be great.
So in the next room there is also a bit of a new scratch that was found by Speedrun. So I'm taking a damage boost here and chain 2 bombs together so they explode early.
Cool.
Previously I used to lure the attack of the turtle to the left so the bomb would explode earlier. But doing it like that, you throw the bomb kind of halfway through the turtle, which then it ignites already earlier. And then just chain a second bomb right next to it.
Yeah, because if you drop a bomb on a turtle, it has this like auto-ignite thing going. Which is, I think it's a thing specifically for the turtles only, right? Does it do that for any other enemy? But yeah, it's interesting, you use that to then chain another bomb.
It makes it so the stones explode earlier.
Only turtle, yeah. It's really satisfying though. Fast ignite. Nice.
So yeah, same deal here. Doing that little quick turn.
This is where you learned about the sound effect loading zone thing, right?
Yeah.
Sprinting into this room right here. If I'm not mistaken.
Doing that little quick turn to get the sound effect out of the way. I think it's about 1.5 seconds after each time that sound played that it plays again if you do a quick turn. So yeah, sometimes like in that room it's not needed to do some weird movement.
Huh, cool. So it wasn't even the right dungeon then.
So
I thought it was coal mine.
Which means we are almost off to last script, which will be a way more fun dungeon to watch. I promise you that. From now on the game really starts kicking off. But yeah, the first half an hour about it's not really that fancy.
Some poggers parts. If only you could do something when riding the minecarts. Like if it would be like Battletoads where you like that.
And yeah, same deal here, couldn't manipulate it.
You get chased and then you have to press another direction every time you turn. I don't know.
Anything, and I also had to kill them as fast as possible. At least I got a health drop, which I don't really need. But hey, it's better than nothing. Also yeah, this chest right there, it actually has another life crystal, or life vessels in it. No, life vessel, that's what they're called. But it's one of the few ones that you can skip. Also, a thing I can talk about maybe. there are actually ways to sequence break this game, and by that I mean like sequence break heavily. For example, we could skip the entirety of Coal Mine, but the thing is, if you do a sequence break, you skip ahead in the story, the game apparently just replaces NPCs with a copy of themselves every time they change their dialogue. And they just don't remove the NPC that stands there, but the exact NPC that stands there. So if you skip ahead, it tries to remove an NPC that doesn't exist yet, because it never spawned in since you skipped some story triggers, and it replaces them with a copy that shouldn't exist yet. What that basically means is that certain NPCs just have duplicates of them standing around in the world if you sequence break. One of which, well, there are two that are actually bad. One is Ronan, but we managed to get past him, so that isn't an issue anymore. We just are limited to the route we can do. We can get past him.
Smile.
Yeah, thanks for the resub checking in. Glad to see you, hope you're doing well. Let's skip back a little bit.
It's Nava. Well, there are two that are actually bad. One is Ronan, but we managed to get past him, so that isn't an issue anymore. We just are limited to the route we can do, but we could get past him. The second one is Nava, and Nava is the bad one, because Nava is standing in the exact location that he's standing in throughout the entire game until the point where you need to get past him. So if at any point you create a duplicate of Nava, you're basically locking yourself out from ever finishing the game. And this is the only reason why we can't sequence break in this game. Or well, we can't sequence break story triggers or do stuff out of order.
Yeah,
For some reason,
if Nava wasn't a thing, I think we would be like all over the place with dungeon order. Like we would go early game, mid game, back and forth like that, because the game would allow for that if it wasn't for Nava, really. Well, some routes you would get blocked by Ronan too. Especially when you walk down the staircase to get to the statue in the sanctuary basement. Ronan can be standing there too to prevent you, but that's kind of rare. But Nava is always in the way, so. Oh, cool. Glad you're here doing good, Shrekin.
Order. If we for some reason could just jump either further or higher, and higher being just like, I think it's like 3 pixels higher, or further, it's something like only 4 or 5 pixels further as well. We could so heavily sequence break this game. Like we could skip Coal Mine, we could skip several dungeons in the mid game. We could do stuff out of order. This game would basically open up so much for routing once that happens, but it's unfortunately not a thing. We can do some sequence breaks, like skipping the entirety of the underground waterway, since there are no story triggers in there. That saves like 10 minutes. Or get stuff like the Earth Book, which Earth Book is the upgraded version of the Earth Scroll that we are about to get in the next dungeon. And that spell is really overpowered for the early game. Or we do get the Fire one really early. We can do stuff like that since there is no story-related trigger to those things. But yeah, unfortunately we can't really do anything. And you may wonder, how would we skip the coal mine? The only thing we have so far is the dagger and the bomb. Well, turns out that is enough to skip the coal mine. We could go to Lars' script just with the bomb. The way you do this is you do a bomb boost onto the wall of the sanctuary. Like you go to the door, to the main door, bomb boost to the left onto the wall and walk into the graveyard. You can't walk straight into the graveyard because Cephas is blocking it, but we found a way around that by doing a bomb boost. and then you can just jump around the entrance of Lars's crypt. Yeah.
Before I watched this, I was thinking like should I like fast forward these parts? But your commentary is too good. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah, you can do that. But the last story trigger that would duplicate an NPC, and is the reason we do all of this, like watching this cutscene or anything, talking to this NPC, is the bouquet, which we are about to pick up here. This little thing here is the last story trigger that would create duplicate NPCs. So we have to do all of this from picking up the bomb to here just because of story triggers. But, and this is the new skill that I have been teased, or that I have teased earlier, that saves pretty much half of the time of what I have saved with this work in progress, about 15 seconds. We don't need to place the bouquet anymore, because placing the bouquet...
Sorry, this trick is a bitch for RTA, by the way, but it's really awesome.
We don't need to place the bouquet anymore, because placing the bouquet is not a story trigger. Well, it is, but it isn't one that creates duplicates. So instead, we just go here, jump around the gate, and enter.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that is really cool, if you do this, you don't get this little text box popping up that says, well, you've entered Lars's script. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why that is.
I actually found that, I think, over a year ago by now. And I was really hyped when I found it, because I thought, oh wait, well, we maybe have a new secrets break that we could use, because I don't think there's anything in between coal mine and this. But turns out there actually is a lot of things.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate.
But hey, it still saves 15-ish seconds.
What's up, TRDX?
Also, yeah, talking to this guy twice, because usually you're supposed to go up there, get a clue of what to do, then do the puzzle, then go back to him, tell him you've done the puzzle, but we just solve the puzzle first, then go up to him, and basically talk right again to him, tell him, well, we've already done it.
It's interesting that it wasn't worth it for you to jump from here, apparently. It's interesting. Because usually, when you drop down here, the game locks you to walk forward like this. But if you jump from this instead of dropping, you can end up somewhere around here. But I guess ending your sprint isn't really worth it for that. Oh, nice. I'm hype.
I think it happened in this work in progress, right? I'm using the bombs to kill enemies that are about to come out. And yeah, as the bridge appears, the gilder that was below it got teleported up, so I was picking it up there. That's really nice. I love that.
Yeah, it's good.
I was so happy when I saw that gilder drop, because I knew I could get it. Also, yeah, you can jump over those holes if you have a bomb above your head, because having anything above your head, when Alundra carries anything, he gets one additional frame of animation to his jump, which means some of the jumps, like those over those two holes, are actually possible if you didn't hold.
I have a feeling this room coming up here is gonna be amazing.
Anything above. Some of the jumps, like those over those two holes, are actually possible. If you didn't hold anything above your head, those jumps wouldn't be possible. And right here, this fight was actually faster than my previous work in progress, because I was able to actually get a third bomb. Because that second ghoul up there, he just wasn't having none of it and wouldn't just go down to the bottom right of this room. But yeah, doing it like that actually saved time. So because he was stubborn, I had to come up with something different, and it ended up saving time. So yeah, this is conveyorless. Usually when you step on those tiles that have the arrows onto them, you will lose control of Alundra and just get forced into the direction they are facing. But being at the very edge, you can just walk around them. But another 10 kill, that
Cool.
was so lucky. Oh damn, that really hurt seeing that. 5 kill that drop that I couldn't get.
Leaving the killer behind.
So yeah, on this boss we will do bomb glitch, which you can just chain bombs above your head and they will keep on exploding. And you need about 10 bombs to kill this boss of 30 slashes with your dagger. Seeing how long his characters are, 10 bombs are no brainer. Even with these low where the first bomb needs to explode.
Very nice.
So yeah, now we will get some items, one of which is another life vessel that we can't skip.
Alundra just running like crazy to get his adrenaline out of the system.
So then, this is the second of 3 forced ones you have to pick up. On top of that we will get a magic crystal and the earth scroll.
I kind of did a little caramel dancing kind of thing there, I guess.
And one of the first jewels. 1 out of 7 jewels are required to beat the game. So, when it comes to combat, so far we have had dagger and the bomb. Usually dagger was enough, except for hordes of enemies like in one of the previous rooms in this dungeon, where we want to use bombs.
For anyone
Generally,
new to this game, this is the first time when you get magic, and this little thing here is basically your magic ammo.
if an enemy takes multiple hits and there are multiple enemies, bombs. If it's a single enemy like slimes, use dagger, sword or whatever. Or if they are one shot, then just use sword or dagger or whatever you just have. But magic and bombs are actually what I will pretty much use exclusively from now on. Not always, there are some exceptions to that. But magic and bombs are just what you want to use to kill enemies effectively.
Alundra was
And
scared.
that-
Scared because Lars but just kept talking. Or Raw, I guess. It's so weird, like you can do that jump, but we can't like do anything else. It's kind of, yeah, it's interesting.
I should talk about my mana route because mana is really scarce in this game. There are only so many magic elixirs and wonder essences, which those two are pretty much exclusively used to refill your mana. That they aren't just everywhere in the game, they are so limited. Unless you want to go to the shop, buy... Well, you can buy magic elixirs at this shop and wonder essence in another shop, but that would just take way too long. So we have to carefully route out where we want to use mana, and I've been doing that a lot the last couple weeks. And I think I've come up with my mana route finally. So right here, there are the two younger girls.
Nice trigger.
The one with the brownish skirt and the one with the bluish skirt. We only have to talk to one of them, and the one with the blue skirt has less text.
Yeah, you can leave this one out.
Usually when there is a gathering like that of NPCs, you have to talk to all of them, but this is one of the few exceptions where you only need to talk to specific ones of them, or well, you can skip either of both.
This is not even where we need to be.
So yeah, almost on to the next dungeon, which is Bonea's Nightmare.
I had a feeling that was gonna be worth a sprint.
Then we are entering this nightmare.
I bet my neighbors are gonna be
So right there, we
curious about the screams.
little trade jump, skip a small portion of this dungeon. Takes like 10 seconds, something like that.
Well, I guess it saves more in the task because you don't need a setup. But yeah, yeah, I guess.
So yeah, you saw a bit of lag there when I equipped the Earth Scroll. When you equip certain spells like the Earth Scroll, Earth Book, you get some lag, and they also lengthen loading zones when you have them equipped. So sometimes you will see me unequip them right away, so certain loading zones don't get longer.
Boost, nice.
In the case of Earth Scroll, loading zones aren't actually affected. It's only the initial lag. And I think that's because they're already stored in memory and it takes a bit longer to load them in whenever you have them equipped. But yeah, for Earthbook you definitely want to unequip that when you don't need it.
Nice, nice. Yeah. You wanna watch Alundra? Come on in. I actually told them about my class. I introduced Alundra to them actually, but nobody knew what this was, of course.
Also generally, magic is just really overpowered in this game, and that's why you want to use it mostly on bosses, except for this one. Because the upcoming boss is a one-shot with a bomb. It would be a two-shot with the Earth Scroll.
Yeah, they're too young.
And I don't know how many hits it would be with the dagger, don't ask me. It would be too many, that's the answer. So yeah, taking damage here to just dash through all of this nonsense, abuse your iframes. And then manipulate this boss, so I hit her with the first bomb. For once that she gives me preferable patterns, because those orbs that are about to spawn, they can spawn two different patterns, and then I get hit by the orb to manipulate her spawning right there.
Oh.
And the seemingly
Nemi.
jumping there is actually to manipulate RNG.
Or is that Nem L? I actually forgot, or I can't tell. But yeah, I emptied the coke, damn. Sorry, I kinda missed this a little bit.
Patterns, because those orbs that are about to spawn, they can spawn two different patterns, and then I get hit by the orb to manipulate her spawning right there. And the seemingly random jumping there is actually to manipulate RNG. Like whenever you see me jumping around, it's probably just to manipulate RNG.
Very cool. Oh, I see. Well, I will call you Nemi if you want to, otherwise I'll just say Nem.
So yeah, now we are about to go to Ancient Shrine. This is where the game really picks up. From now on, every dungeon will be super fun to watch for the TAS, in my opinion.
Yeah, both Ancient Shrine and Coastal Cave are gonna be great.
The Desert of Despair. And we will go a bit of an unconventional route to that. It's not the intended route the game wants you to take, but it is a possible route. And I think the game knows that it's possible. But we're taking this a bit further. We're going not only a kind of unconventional route, but we're actually doing a sequence break route where we enter Nirud's lair, and We will get the Earth book right away. Like, we just got the Earth scroll and now we are already getting the Earth book.
Send me roots.
So yeah, we're going from the first spell you get in the game to kind of like the 5th spell that you're supposed to get. And that's a big upgrade in terms of raw damage output.
Nice diagonal walk there.
And we will do that route where we get the Earth book twice. Once to get the Earth book now, because it will just annihilate most of the early game bosses. And the second time we do it is to skip the underground waterway and the first third of the Moon's Lair.
Same route.
This is also
Nice.
where I mentioned we could technically sequence break the game. Like, we could go to the dungeon that you're supposed to do about, well, 2 hours 20 minutes into a speedrun. So you would skip from like 40 minutes into the speedrun to 2 hours and 20 minutes into the speedrun, but you would lack so many items and story triggers that it's just impossible to beat the game at that point. It's very unfortunate.
Here we go, big jump.
It's all due to the duplicate NPCs. So yeah, this jump is only possible when you hold a bomb above your head. Every time you see me holding something above my head in order to make a jump, it's pretty much required.
Huh. It's more worth it to walk there. Huh. Cool. Maybe like, yeah. Because you walk so much diagonally there. That makes sense. These jumps must have been really fun to test out.
So yeah, jumping is just faster when you're on sand.
How much is left of this? Yeah. I hope my neighbor can forgive me. I can turn it down a little bit. Why do I always walk in the middle of those pillars? It makes more sense just to like keep to the left like that. I was gonna say, oh shit. I'm missing too much good stuff. I was gonna say if she complains I'll just give her a hot dog. What the fuck? Oh shit. That was really clean. And by the way, I don't think this is explained, but going here actually, like, you're really supposed to land down here and then do like a jumping puzzle to get down here, but walking on the very bottom top makes it you're already up here. So this room seems really redundant, but yeah, you're not supposed to do that. I guess you will bomb glitch here? Yeah.
Because the worms, even though they don't look like it. So yeah, doing the bomb glitch here again, because the worms, even though they don't look like it, they are 3 tiles tall.
This is gonna be good.
So you can use the bomb glitch there Since the bomb is above your head, an enemy has to be at least 3 times high in order to be able to hit them like that, and most of the enemies just aren't that high. Not even most bosses.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wow, sick.
So yeah, pretty much every time you're on this balcony section, you want all of the mummies to just not be in your way. That is one of the most annoying parts to manipulate. Since usually you're going through several rooms, like right there, this room, where enemies will just be in your way, and once you find them,
yeah, you would come up again.
One room, the next room may not be in your favor, and you just have to chain together several RNG seeds in order to be able to go through all of them.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, those are gilder drops I couldn't pick up again. Very unfortunate. Like right there, this is another balcony section where you want to dash through the mummies, and also the mummies sound effects can lengthen loading zones.
Huh.
I'm not sure which part actually is that lengthen the loading zones, but sometimes they would be longer, and I
Weird.
don't know why. Like right there, you have to manipulate mummies there, and then on the next screen, try it again. And there isn't anything in between where you could just manipulate RNGs or so. This is one of the few exceptions where I sometimes enter a loading zone, I think up to 2 frames later in order to manipulate RNG.
Shoulder dash.
I'm actually not sure if I did that in this work in progress. I know I did it in the last one, but I'm not sure if I did it in this one. So yeah, in the next room, that gave me a bit of a headache. I took kind of long break, like 2 months probably, again.
Yeah.
I redid this task because I just couldn't find anything for the B room.
Nice.
Then I finally found something that was even faster than the previous work in progress.
Of course I was doing that, dude. It's too satisfying. I would not have imagined that sprint to be worth it there either. Because you walk so much diagonal when you go up there. But yeah.
So yeah, right there are multiple rooms again with nothing in between where you can manipulate.
Probably just a bare handful
Once this
of
one,
frames.
then this one as well.
Did you? Maybe you thought about the same thing as I did, because I don't know if you remembered that.
Once this one.
Because I'm sure you know about this.
Multiple rooms again with
These like jumping off and jumping, unless it's like not worth maybe.
nothing in between where you can manipulate RNG. For once this one, then this one as well.
Damn, sorry about that.
The next 2 rooms don't have RNG, but the one after has, and you can't manipulate RNG at all in between, unless you want to waste frames again.
Yeah, maybe.
Very careful about how to manipulate the RNG there.
A handful of frames.
Especially this room. This room is really nasty because of the mummies on the right. This also took me quite a while to get something again that worked.
103 set. I feel like it would be like just like
Especially
a really
if you
tiny
consider
thing,
that
right?
There are 2 rooms before that also have to be manipulated. So every time there is just nothing in between that requires RNG or can be used to manipulate RNG, I would
gonna be so
mostly
good.
do that. Even though this room actually requires RNG, it's really easy to manipulate those swarms. Also, RIP 10 gilder.
Nice.
This room I actually saved. I don't know how much time it was, but I remember it being a lot because the mummies would just end up being in a favorable positions.
Oh, sick.
It was probably at least 10-ish frames.
It's so hard to comprehend. A nice wall bounce. Some lag there. Alundra really in a hurry, like
The power of the Earth Book.
immediately.
This is the same boss as in Last Crypt, where we needed 10 bombs in order to kill him. This time we needed 2 hits with the Earth Book and 1 with the flail. Doing it in that order, that you first hit it with the flail and then the Earth Book cast, is slightly faster, because hitting it with the flail is just... or the first hit is faster than using the Earth Book. And while he has his iframes going on...
This is a new thing.
One thing really quick. If you stand pixel perfect on that spot with the cactus there, you can jump up there.
Cool.
Rex found that, so that saved like 1.5 seconds. That's a really cool strat. But yeah, while the iframes are going for the boss there, we can't...
I gotta say that cactus discovery thing, I was kind of disappointed that we couldn't use more stuff with that. Like there wasn't anything like really good.
Pass the Earth Book and then the Earth Book just hits the first frame it can after the iframes are gone.
Yeah, he's like had a long day at work and he's like,
That's alright there.
boom, just get it over with.
Sometimes you can just walk or run over one tile gaps, it depends on your subpixels. So we used it right there, on the way back again.
Oh, nice.
Then I will also use them on those two.
Nice.
Also sometimes you see me not running, even though it's kind of a long way. Usually when you're going in between spaces where you change directions every other tile, like right there, it's pretty much not worth it sprinting. It's so impossible to sprint there.
Yeah, and I guess you don't really build any speed, right? With the really
Just
tight
makes
ramps.
this take way too long sprinting through that. Especially since you have to do so many quick turns. Also, just watch this. If you thought my previous work in progress was sick, just watch this. This is the best I could do. All 8. And I got Gilda. And I got even more Gilda. This makes me so happy just seeing this. Makes me... And I got Gilda.
How come they don't walk away from the bombs or anything? They're like, fuck it.
All 8. And I got Gilda. And I got even more Gilda. This makes me so happy
Yeah, that was
seeing
awesome.
this.
Truly great.
I got all with bombs in the center of the room. It was so hard to manipulate it, but I pulled through it and I got it. And then I got also rewarded with even more Gilda.
Yeah, I think you had like 2 or was it 3 bombs or anything or something like that. But well, I guess you had 3 now. But I mean, like, it looked like you might as well could have been 1, right? Almost like that. Huh. Wow. That's Sandcape speed. You couldn't do that in the dungeon? What's up, Dark Knight? Nice to see you.
So yeah, right now we are actually passing through some screens where wave sound effects from the ocean play.
Ah, I see. Yeah, that makes sense then.
Not right there, but soon. And those had to be manipulated in order to not lengthen loading zones.
Oh, nice boost. Cool. It has been a while. I haven't been streaming much.
I'm not sure if the sound effect from the river actually lengthens loading zones, but I haven't noticed that. Usually what I do is I stand in front of a loading zone and just enter it on different frames. See if the length of the loading is consistent.
Sounds like a good idea.
And if it's not, that means that there is a sound effect going on. So right there, that sound effect from the waves that lengthens loading zones. So yeah,
I mean,
had to be
how cool would it be here if instead of sprinting it would be faster to like sand cape and like roam under the sand? That would be kind of great.
that lengthens loading zones. So yeah, this had to be manipulated.
Oh, yeah, we're in for a treat now with this dungeon.
So because we did a sequence break, we have a key that we are not supposed to have, so we can do this dungeon a bit out of order. Go do our business down here first and then go back up, instead of going up to get a key to get back down and then going back up again.
Because normally you
Just
kind of need to
saves more
backtrack here.
time here and there having an extra key. On top of being able to just skip parts of a dungeon later on and just use the key straight up. Also, can't do that there again. I couldn't.
Yeah, I've seen that throw. It's so good. It's so good.
Straight up. Also, can't do that there again. I couldn't get sad face.
First time I saw that, I almost flew out of my chair.
But yeah, here's the gauntlet again. The gauntlet is pretty straightforward. So I'm switching to the sword here and immediately switch back to the flame.
Oh,
And that actually ended up saving only about 6 frames.
6 frames.
Only because I got the RNG that was required for it to save
Nice.
time.
And the shoes, you grabbed the chest so early, so you can barely even see the shoes on screen. And then I love how you're like facing the other direction as well as you grab the chest. What the fuck is that about?
So yeah, depending on your RNG, it is not even worth it going back to the sword here for the mud golem phase.
Great subpixels there for you to be able to just walk over that gap.
And there I actually had to go for exactly 1 frame downwards after the loading zone, because if I would have started dashing straight to the left, I would have landed in a hole.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, there are also a couple screens back to back where you need to manipulate RNG with enemy movement and everything.
Oh, so fast.
So those bikes pretty much act like enemies. Depending on where you hit them, you get pushed back into a different direction. Instead of getting knocked back into the direction opposite of what you're facing.
Yo, nice. I'm getting so inspired watching this. Oh.
So right there, I can walk above the holes again by doing subpixel manipulation.
Nice.
Right there, I figured that it's actually faster to walk out and enter the screen from the bottom loading zone, since the cycle of this steel ball that just hit me there ended up being slightly better.
Oh, cool.
I couldn't get past it without getting hit, but I still managed to save some frames there.
Yeah, because I guess it cancels your swimming animation.
So this is another sequence break. We just got a key, so now we have 2 keys in our inventory, and we won't use either of them in this dungeon.
No need to jam very much
Also
with
here,
those logs.
Destroying all 3 steel balls. We won't use either of them in this dungeon. Also here, destroying all 3 steel balls is actually faster. Well, it doesn't waste any time, but it is required because the whoosh sound effect, this one that they make, that actually lengthens loading zones as well, but
Nice.
the fact it didn't even waste any frame destroying all 3. In fact, it saved time because of the loading.
By the way,
Destroying all, but in fact,
this
it didn't
jump
even
here,
waste
this jump, is this a perfect jump? Like one that needs a bomb? Because I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. It kind of looks like it.
any frame destroying all 3.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, it saved time because of the loading.
So good. Yo, what's up, Super Duper Fly? No, this is a tool assisted speedrun. Which basically means every input is pre-programmed into a theoretical perfect run.
So right there, we can pick up the chest from the water. I don't know why it works, but it works, so may as well use it. And that was the Wonder Essence, which we will use to recover mana.
Oh, don't worry about it.
So that was a really fast pickup. A 10 gilder again that we couldn't pick up. So much gilder left behind.
I can really recommend watching TAS speedruns. It's a real
And this boss
treat for many games.
is such a big headache. It is so stupid to manipulate. I don't know when you actually can manipulate it. Like, I thought I knew how to manipulate it, and then I got to the boss and I just couldn't do it. In the end, I ended up being able to do it. Like, jumping, charging your sword, anything, it just doesn't work. Like, charging a weapon also changes RNG. That's also a way I will use from now on. But in the end, I finally managed to find something. And on top of that, I will do this boss a bit different than in the previous work in progress, which is about 400 frames of time loss compared to the old work in progress. But it actually saves time in the long run. Like you saw, I used the charge sword in there. In the previous
Nice,
work in
and
progress, I will just
bam.
Wonder Essence
Nice.
and cast the Earth Book 4 times, which is enough to kill. But right there, I use 2 Earth Books and 3 charged sword hits, and 1 cycle is pretty much 400 frames. But yeah, the stupid thing is...
It looks like you're waiting a lot, but I guess it just takes a while until the first active frames, when you can get hit, right? Like, especially here.
4 times, which is enough to kill. Right there, I use 2 Earth Books and 3 charged sword hits, and 1 cycle is pretty much 400 frames.
Yeah, it
But
seemed
the
long.
stupid thing is, apparently there's a bit of a random effect that you deal damage with the sword charge on this boss. So sometimes you need 6 hits, and I don't know why. I'm super happy it didn't happen this time. Because initially I only wanted to go back to this dungeon and redo the task from there, because I needed a Wonder Essence later.
Right. I was gonna say you should have went to the corner and threw some bombs, but you would need the menu for that. That would be stupid.
Then I decided to just screw it, doing it from beginning again. Might as well do it right. And when I only redid this dungeon, I actually got that glitch, whatever it is, so I needed 6 hits and I couldn't figure out how to manipulate it to only need 5 hits. But yeah, there it worked out, 5 hits, only lost 400 frames compared to optimal fight.
Glad you're enjoying it, Alundra.
Essence, which will save more time later than it would here.
It's all thanks to Vaan.
All of that are just reroutes that happened over the last couple years.
Yeah, so now you... Well, you actually switched to bomb anyway. Guess what else?
So yeah, right now we are passing through couple screens again with ocean sounds. So we also needed to manipulate those.
Yeah, I couldn't hear any ocean sound there when you were getting close to the loading zone. Nice minute.
We're doing kind of a sequence break again. We're getting the fire wand, which you're definitely not supposed to have this early on. And we're doing that by using a bomb boost.
Nice. And off you go.
Getting hit by a bomb while doing a jump and then pulling a bomb first frame possible again.
1 health.
Makes you jump a bit further. Not higher, but further. And it just lengthens your jump by a couple pixels, and that makes this jump possible from the bridge there.
I think I had a dream where I dreamt that we could like just jump up here immediately without having to bomb these, which is already a sequence break, because normally you need to like play like a pogo game with a fireball, but yeah, for some reason I think I dreamt that.
Also yeah, we have the ticking going on because of low health. I'm sorry for that. It won't be for too long. We will get a heal shortly.
Nice. It's like the fireball is dragging you along. Alundra's like, no! No!
So yeah, now we're going back to town and then we will be forced to sleep, which will replenish our health. So just a bit more of ticking.
I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think the health ticking is annoying to hear in this game.
So yeah, more ocean sounds, so we need to manipulate those as well. That's what we did in Fire Manor. Also, if you're used to watching RTA runs that do the early Fire Wand strat,
it's one thing with like Super Metroid where they go like wee 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 wee, but yeah, this is way better.
you will notice that I didn't pick up the water book, and I didn't do that because for a TAS it should be a no-brainer that it is faster to skip it. Water book is more reliable in terms of the way the spell works out, because Earth book is flat out RNG. But damage-wise they are pretty much the same. Well, they are the same on the bosses that we want to use either of both. And since I can just manipulate RNG from the Earth book, doesn't matter if I use Earth book or Water book. But it does matter if I get the Water book or skip it. So
Nice bonk.
just skipping it. It just means I need to manipulate RNG later on certain bosses when I cast the Earth book, but that's just whatever. I can just get the RNG I want.
So I guess the health.
The RNG I want. You just can't make up something that doesn't exist or doesn't happen.
I guess the health ticking
Just
sound
limited
doesn't delay loading zones, I guess.
or doesn't happen. you're still limited to the ways you can manipulate RNG in the game and to things that are doable. But usually what I do is I cast Earthbook and see what is the earliest frame I can hit the boss and how long are the iframes of this boss. So I'll make sure to hit it on the first frame possible and then on every first frame possible once the iframes run out on consecutive hits. And usually that ends working out. There's one exception where I hit one of the Earthbook casts on the second frame. So up until now I only wasted one frame using Earthbook ever. And that boss is about to come up in 2 dungeons.
Wario Land 4? Is that a Game Boy game or like Game Boy Advance or something? I'm not sure. But yeah, especially NES games have some really obnoxious health kind of things like that. Is it Pokemon where it goes like dee-dong, 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 and it even like overrides the music? Well, it is made in Japan after all. The same place that has... You walk into a store and in order for them to sell a soda, they have like... When you get close, there's like a little speaker where kids start screaming the name of the soda. So yeah, it makes sense. Not joking, by the way, that's a thing.
So yeah, going to Klein's house now, talking to some NPCs, then we're off to the next dungeon.
This dungeon is gonna be free
I
for
need
sure.
to point it out, I just have to. This dungeon has the best music in the game. And if you say otherwise, you're just wrong. That's not an opinion, that's a fact.
Yeah, there's Monka S as well.
This dungeon is
Yeah.
really cool. I just love this dungeon.
Yes, god music.
So even though the ice is slippery, it still loses time jumping unless you have to take a corner or something like that. Also, this damage boost here because of the slope saves time. I will do it every time I go down the slope.
It's so satisfying to see. And again,
And I will do another damage boost right here. Also, spike balls actually scale in damage the further you get into this game. So while this
Monak.
big spike ball may only do 3 damage.
Monak S. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Probably elsewhere, yeah.
Do another damage boost right here. Also, spike balls actually scale in damage the further you get into this game. So while this big spike ball may only do 3 damage, in a couple dungeons from now it will already do 7 damage.
Yeah, that's a weird spike in damage there.
Oh well,
Spike.
in one of the dungeons 5 and then in a later dungeon 7.
Nice.
So charging my sword here in order to change RNG.
Meatball carry.
It's a way I can use to change RNG on the go without wasting any frame, because I can just charge it. That doesn't waste any time, just charging it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because of the particles.
That is something I didn't have to use in the previous work in progress, but because I couldn't jump here with well, jumping generally, I don't know in frames how much it loses, but jumping once basically wastes 3 pixels. So yeah, you only want to jump if you change RNG or if it's required for movement. But yeah, here I could just use the sword charge, which, well, I don't think I will use it again. In this dungeon at least. Right here, you can also do a sub-pixel jump in order to get over this gap. In order to get over a gap that is 3 tiles, you need to hold something above your head and have the right sub-pixel. Well, you can also do it with a bomb boost, because it also gives some pixels additionally towards your jump, but a bomb boost would take too long instead of just aligning your sub-pixels.
I was gonna take a look at this, and at the same time, I wanted to say that if you're confused about what a sub-pixel means, you just... Nice. Very pancake-like. I like it. A sub-pixel is basically, when it comes to your position in a game, it's like consistent. It's consisting of a string of numbers, and like you could be on the same pixel in the game, but have, for example, position 223. But then you could also be on the very same pixel and have like 224 or whatever. So that's basically what sub-pixel means. It was a pretty weird concept for me at first, but yeah, that's how it works.
So yeah, there will be a lot of instances in this task where I have to manipulate sub-pixels in order to either walk over a gap or jump over a 3-tile gap.
Yeah, it makes it sound like that's what it is.
So here just dashing along the very edge of the platforms.
Nice.
So the steel balls don't hit you.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that room is kind of...
So this room is really cool because I do several jumps back to back where I abuse sub-pixels like this, and this
Yo, sick.
in order to get over the gap.
I don't think I saw that. Is this a new thing?
Cool because I do several jumps back to back where I abuse sub-pixels like this, and this.
Yeah, because both this jump and the previous one are not possible unless you're out there like super perfect. Hey, okay.
In order to get over the gap and just skip doing the puzzle the intended way.
I guess I just forgot about it.
Also, got a gilder here. Previous work in progress I only got health, which I didn't need, but this time I got gilder. Also,
That's
you
a nice
notice
track.
the grass is cut now, so I think the tower, even though you go through a loading zone, the entire tower is just one screen. Because usually when you reload the screen, the grass grows back. I noticed that when I did this task here, or this work in progress.
Yeah, sprint the whole room. Sick.
I was like, where's the grass? I never noticed that before. But yeah, for once we don't need to worry about our health, and on the other hand, we get a full refill here, which is required, because otherwise the gate won't open. I also just copied my inputs here from the previous test, even though this boss is entirely RNG, simply because I could just either remove a jump or two, or add a jump or two, and RNG would line up again. Because this boss only has 2 patterns. He either sucks, this is when you can hit it, or he throws out slimes, and you don't want the slimes, so just add or remove a jump or two, and you will change his attack pattern.
I like you just standing still even.
Really laid back. I wish everything would have been this easy to manipulate. And and in total he needs 20 hits. This is a hit-based boss. There are 2 hit-based bosses in the game and they are back to back.
A little tough to hear you right now.
Like literally back to back.
There we go.
We're now going to the next boss right away. I think this boss takes 8 hits. Don't quote me. This boss is actually pretty cool because since it is hit-based and has quite long iframes and there is a lot of grass, I can use that to manipulate drops from the grass since those are actually frame-based.
Yeah, because you need that, right?
So yeah, I will manipulate a lot of Gilder here. And if you thought I manipulated a lot of Gilder in the previous work, I manipulate even more here. Oh well, the amount of Gilder is the same, but they're just worth more. Since I got more 10 Gilder drops than the previous one. And I'm almost at 200 Gilder now.
Poor climb.
I think in the previous work in progress I got 46 Gilder, and in this one I got like 56, I wanna say. I definitely got way more Gilder in this one though. And that made me happy because I dreaded this. I didn't want to go here and just not be able to manipulate Gilder at all. I put in a lot of effort into this, more than I should have probably, but I just want to do this. Like sometimes I'm lazy and I don't want to do anything when I have time to dig around. After a boss, for example, I usually just opt to dash or do some quick turns or whatever. Because I just don't enjoy passing nonsense. But when it comes to stuff like this and being able to manipulate Gilder drops or something, I'm just all eager for that. And it is good because I think that adds to the entertaining value of this task. But generally, you're just so limited in what you can do, and I don't feel like always doing the same when I have time, like just dashing around or changing direction every frame. But yeah, this is pretty much all you can do. There's not a lot of options. So, in the next screen there's the second route diversion coming up. We are actually picking up the magic elixir here. I didn't do that in the previous work in progress. But for once, this magic pickup is about 10 frames faster than getting into the safe room in Megascar. The whole 10 frames, and it is only faster because the loading zone in Megascar takes longer.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of discussion about that.
200 frames and the loading zone.
Sorry.
Like this loading zone takes about 200 frames and the loading zone in Megascar takes about 250, and you need to go through both 2 times. So Megascar loading zone is about 100 frames faster and it only ends up being 10 frames slower. So yeah, that's something. Then we have this here. I'm happy I found something to manipulate this again, because this also took way too long.
Oh.
But it ended up being faster than my previous whip once I found something.
Very nice.
Also, I don't recommend menuing that close to a loading zone, because there's a glitch that can happen where the loading zone just gets longer. Or sometimes you can soft block if it goes really bad,
Cool.
especially if you equip something like the Earth Book next to a loading zone and then go right through it as you close the menu. But obviously if that would happen in the task, I could just redo it. I think it's related to fastest speed. So I guess you could do it, but I still don't recommend it.
Yeah, we don't know of anybody who had that super long loading
Although
zone
the
happened too.
Longer loading zone.
That did not use fast disk speed, like anyone using emulator or PS1 or what have you.
Although the longer loading zone and sometimes even soft lock, that also happens on emulator, so maybe it's not related to fast disk speed.
I guess not wrong. Wait, did you talk about the long loading zone there? Or did you mean something different? Yeah, I guess I didn't know that. I'm so sure. Oh, you had. Oh, okay.
Another 5
Cool.
gilder.
Or I mean, it's not really cool, but
The 5 gilder as well in the previous one.
yeah, it's really sick.
I think the exact same pillar dropped the 5 gilder as well in the previous work in progress.
This is gonna be great too.
This room here, this looks just so good. I'm so happy with this one. So casual. So good. I'm so happy with this.
Wait.
This room here, this looks just so good. I'm so happy with this one. So casually, and then at the end just jump into the loading zone like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's really slick.
So yeah, already on the boss, and this is the boss where one of the casts hit on the second frame possible, not on the first frame. But that's just because you have to hit the boss 5 times in total. And the earthbook is so random that only wasting 1 frame was the best I could do. Yeah, you saw the lag there again as I equipped the earthbook. It depends on the room you're in, sometimes that lag may be longer. Like, even though you know that I wasted a frame, you probably won't even notice where I wasted the frame. Also, one of the reptiles dropped 5 gilder, like did in the previous one. So yeah, we have 5 more gilder, and we have over 200 now already. I can spoiler as much. This task will definitely end up having over 300 gilder by the end of it. Because I know how much gilder I got in Childs, and there is a 50 gilder that you are required to get from one of the NPCs. So yeah, I will definitely end up having over 300. But yeah, all that you're seeing now is new. This is new stuff for the task. This has never been shown before.
New stuff hype!
This is also the reason why it took so long. Because just fuck Child's Nightmare. Just fuck it. I hate that place so much. I hated it before and I hate it even more now. So yeah, walking in this screen right here saves 1 frame.
1 frame.
Charging the weapon here to manipulate the smut guy that you're about to see. This one. He was always standing there waiting for me to hit me in the face. But yeah, just charging the sword.
Yeah, that happens almost all the time for me. I have to normally I have Fire Wand equipped, so it's not a huge deal unless you're looking to save every frame, but yeah, usually I have to kill him as I go past.
Position.
Yeah, thanks for watching, Kekev. I hope I'll see you soon. Whenever I'll see ya.
So yeah, wasting no time, just talking to a couple NPCs and we are right off into the next dungeon. And oh boy, I should talk about this a lot. So Child's Nightmare is RNG Nightmare. There is so much RNG in this dungeon.
Yeah, what's up
This
inside?
dungeon features enemies that are only in this dungeon, and pretty much all enemies in this dungeon are dependent on RNG in a way where they are just invincible most of the time. or not even on screen. So figuring out a way to kill them fast it was so stupid. And I'm not even happy with how it turned out. I should say that I'm not happy with this. But I just couldn't find anything better in... I worked on this dungeon like a total of probably 2 or 3 months. And most of that time was just spent in rooms like this.
Nice strat, wow.
This is still easy, this is straightforward, but now, those enemies. You want all 4 enemies to appear.
Alright, but that was good, wasn't it?
Now, those enemies. You want all 4 enemies to appear.
Damn.
And it's just so hard to make them appear fast. For once, you're not allowed to move when they are about to
I knew it was gonna look amazing anyway.
spawn, because that will lengthen the time they will appear on screen. Then there's the thing that it is, well, for once, just doing some sub-pixel jumps here again, to skip doing this room the intended way. But
Sick.
they once they are on screen, once their shadow appears, that is basically when you are allowed to move again, but not really, because depending on where you are standing, they may decide to go up or not. And also depends on RNG if they decide to go up or not. Like, even if you have the right RNG but you're standing in the wrong position, they may decide to not come up. And I know what is technically possible. Like, technically it's possible that all 4 shadows appear on the same frame and all 4 pop up on the same frame. 4 shadows appear on the same frame and all 4 pop up on the same frame. But it is just so difficult to get even anything close to that. It is even just so difficult to make all 4 appear so you hit them with just 1 attack. So I'm not happy with it because I know what could in theory also... Doing it like this is faster, but it is also harder than using a bomb. It saves like a second and a half.
Wow.
But yeah, I have to fight shadows 4 times in this dungeon. Also those there are like enemies I have to fight twice. So yeah, this dungeon is just full of bullshit RNG with enemies. And in theory, if I get like the perfect RNG that I can imagine for the shadows, I could probably save a second on each shadow fight. So a total of like 4 seconds. But I haven't even... I've only seen that once, where all 4 popped up immediately. And that was very recently, like in fact yesterday, or 2 days ago.
Yo! What?
Very recently, like in fact yesterday.
You're not vulnerable in the... No, it's because they're so far down to the ground, I guess.
2 days ago. Yeah, 2
That's
days
cool.
ago. I've seen it the first time happen. Shoutouts to Evan here. He actually got it in his current PP.
Sorry, what?
Yep. Shoutouts to Evan here. He actually got it in his current PP.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never manipulated to
Yeah.
manipulate it. I never managed to manipulate. So here's the last time we fight shadows.
Guess you only need 1 bomb there.
Like right now I could have already killed them, but it's just impossible to manipulate. I don't even know if it is possible to manipulate this in the TAS. Maybe this what I got is the best, but I know in theory what is possible, so I'm a bit bittersweet here with this. I'm happy and I'm super unhappy with this. But I'm just happy that I'm done with this dungeon for once. Also definitely not using Earthbook here, but just doing this. Kill there, we are out. Saves about 80 frames compared to using Earthbook and a mana cast, which is the most important part. because
Yeah.
we will only use 1 mana here for the boss. And then we will not replenish our mana in Magiskar, but only use 1 mana cast on the boss there as well. So yeah, I'm not sure if I would want to leave the boss like that. Also yeah, the test is not there. This is as far as I tested. But I'm not sure if I want to redo the boss. Well, I definitely will work on it a bit more, see if I can save some frames. But this is pretty much what I got so far. I just wanted to get this video out. But the boss may change, I may save a couple frames still. This boss is weird because you need 3 hits with the Earth Book and then 2 charged hits with the Fire Wand. So doing it like that, you have to delay the Earth Book or just cast that early. So in order to not get sucked in when he does his second attack, you need the Earth Book animation to be over already. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this, because this took a lot of work, especially Child's Nightmare, redoing this entire task. It was worth it in the end, but it was so much work. And I'm happy that I did it now, because I've done it. Next dungeon, Magiskar, should be a bit straightforward. I don't know when I will pull this out. But once I'm done with Magiskar, the next 2 dungeons are pretty much free because there is no RNG at all. Just movement, and that should go really fast. So I hope I make some steady progress in the future. And I hope I will see you guys soon.
Cool. Great stuff, Vaan. 2 years again. Yeah, I'm really happy that you found the motivation to work on this again. Now that you were starting picking up the game and all. It's really cool. I would love to stream whenever you finish another part, but I'm thinking that maybe it'll be a little short, so maybe I could like stream some of this, like maybe from Ancient Shrine and up, and then show the extra new part on top of that, something like that maybe. But that's just maybe speculation, or wait for you to finish like maybe 2 or 3 dungeons, something like that. But yeah, that was a treat to watch.